Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to day number 51. Unbelievable. Day 51, and here we are. In fact, tonight may be the best update yet. That's because Zhenia's asleep. He finally zonked out on me. He figured out real quick that we are not spring chickens anymore. I was just talking to him minutes ago. Folks, he could not even keep his eyes open. So, talking to him a few minutes ago, everything I will be sharing with you tonight, 100% accurate. Everything that I will be sharing, even from inside Russia tonight, absolutely accurate. Every picture, every update, every number. We went over all the data, and he fell out. I mean, I'm yelling at him over the mic because I bring him into the software for the studio and we're talking and going over everything. Yeah, man, that's right. That's right. That's right. I said, man, go to bed. I did ask him, I said, if a air raid signal goes on tonight while you're sleeping, what's the chance of you hearing it? He said, slim to none. He's exhausted. So we'll keep him in our prayers as always. So few greetings here, and then we're going to get going. Friday night, Easter weekend. I don't want to abuse your time, especially this weekend. You know, sometimes when I've got Zhenya in here and we get rolling live, no problem. But I really want to try to keep it to an hour each night for you guys, especially on Easter weekend. So welcome to you all, JDO, Zinkster, Beardy. I love that name. Anita Grilleski, I think I've got a picture for you. Larry and Debbie, God bless you. Judy Emmerichs. The Rob 2. Awesome. From SBville, Pennsylvania. First time I've seen that name. Welcome tonight. Rita Berryman, Melanie Scales, Donna Adams, Kim Porter, Rick Berry coming in, ripping the Slava Ukraina. Very good stuff, my man. Jeremy Teeble checking in from Canada. Roe Gammon, Midlothian, Virginia. Andrea Shove, God bless you. Dawn Pinkham, I see you guys out there in San Jose, California. EMJF checking in from Texas. Kim Brinsler, Jamestown. Yeah, Zhenya's exhausted. How is Anne? Anne? Annie, my daughter, Mexico. Fantastic. Zingster, welcome to you. Gentilini's, God bless you, Bob Piccarilli, and everybody else that is jumping in here tonight. Thank you for being here. We have a full hour. I do want to start with this picture right here. Gentilini's, you guys are in Chesapeake. Awesome. That would be the state of Virginia, guys. Here we have an image coming today sent in from a morning prayer group. Zhenya is asleep, but he has the image, and as well, everybody tomorrow will be seeing it. So here is Zhenya's big heart coming back at you from morning prayer group that is praying for you guys. So there you have it. In fact, let me give those guys a cheer. Thank you guys for that picture. So welcome to everybody. Gonna be good, gonna be full, and we're gonna get right to it. I told you guys, you send in a picture. I love to put them up. This is Jamestown, Pennsylvania. You see the American flag flying and you see the Ukrainian flag flying. That is coming in tonight from beautiful Jamestown, Pennsylvania. AP, Rio Vista, California. What's up, brother? Welcome. I watched your service online the other day. It was good, man. All right, folks, here we go. So that's Jamestown, Pennsylvania. I want to give you another picture, but this one is actually not from Jamestown, but this is actually from Warsaw. You say, well, what is that? Well, I wanted to show you that picture first so nobody could say this is being photoshopped, da-da-da-da. It's not. This is the roadway in front of the Russian embassy in Poland. This is in Warsaw, right on the road. You say, well, okay, we'll see some blue and yellow there. Well, how about the next picture? Slava Ukraini. Folks, that is not photoshopped. That is 100% legit. There's the dude painting it. And it is on the roadway to the left. And the arrows are pointing, but to the left is the gates and the embassy of Russia. So when they pull out, they are going to see Slava Ukraini. So that is very cool and 100% legit. Promise you. Oldsguards, welcome to you. God bless you. Thank you for all that you are doing as well. Heather Weinmiller checking in from beautiful, sunny Florida. Awesome. All right, folks. Updates on today. Today has been a very difficult day. Very difficult day. I'll give you a little bigger map. In fact, a couple of interesting things. We know that last night, Zhenya and I were discussing quite a bit about the Moskva, and that is how you say it. The Moskva. That is the ship that is on the bottom of the Black Sea. Well, I mean, that's huge news, and we're excited about it. But it's opening up a new phase of the war and a new phase of unexpectedness. Today, Russia took it to a new level. In fact, last night, and I will show you this in just a few minutes, the factory that actually manufactures the Neptune missiles. And like we say, could have been missiles, could have been anything. Doesn't matter. It's on the bottom of the Black Sea. Yes, a lot of organizations came out today and said it was 2 Neptune missiles. We'll take it. The factory that makes the Neptune missiles is right in Kyiv, right on the outside, near one of the airports. It was destroyed last night. And we'll get to that in a moment. So there's your explosion in Kyiv. Here's something else that's interesting. Look up north of Chernihiv. So now you're learning the map. Go straight up to the north in the middle of the picture right there. I thought Russia had left. Well, they have started shelling northern Ukraine again. They're fighting at the border again. It's right where Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus come. Heavy shelling today north of Chernihiv. I do not know what else is left to shell unless they're trying to shell people that are trying to get back home, but they have started shelling there. Here's another place that's been quiet a week or so. Sumy, straight to the right. Been quiet. Sumy was wrecked early in the war. It's being shelled again. Look south or below Sumy, you see the purple star. What is that? Today, there were buses evacuating people from Kharkiv. The buses were shelled. 7 people were killed. Yes, the buses said evacuation. The buses said children. The buses said humanitarian. It didn't matter. They were under a white flag. They were shelled. That's the top purple star. Below that to the left, Poltava. Poltava was struck today with missile strikes. Kharkiv struck non-stop today. To the right, big star there. Lugansk is pretty much leveled to the ground. In fact, I've got a little video here from Ukrainians, this Ukrainian military riding around doing some reconnaissance. Got the video in today. This is Lugansk, and the governor of the Lugansk Oblast came out today and said, our oblast is destroyed. So here we go. This is Lugansk today.
Это все волной разнесло. Хороший напал. Увагу. Это как раз светофор. Да. А здесь направо?
Да. А там, наверное, давай едь по прямой.
Прямо едь. Через кольцо.
Там уже, наверное, нету дороги. Бать, да. Да там же ж люди были.
Просто поздувал. Глянь на дома.
So that is some images from Lugansk. as you can see, folks, that's really what scorched earth is. Yes, Nathan, you're right. It's complete annihilation. This is World War II. Jason Sterling coming in with the question, is it true Gorky Park was targeted? Well, the answer for you is simple. Gorky Park was destroyed, but I'm not sure that's the Gorky Park you're referring to. There's two Gorky Parks. There is a very famous Gorky Park, and I have been in it many times. It's in Moscow. That's the famous one the movies are about, the music is about, the songs are about. But there is another large, beautiful Gorky Park in Kharkiv. If you're referring to the one in Kharkiv, yes, it has been shelled, and Gorky Park is destroyed. I actually have video of that as well. I just have to be selective with what I show. So back to the map. Let me finish this out for you before we go further. Mykolaiv hit nonstop. Zaporozhye was hit. Energodar is under a complete different regime. I'm going to show you some documentation on that. You know, you're learning the cities. And then, of course, over to the bottom right, Mariupol, folks, it's gone. And you will hear from President Zelensky himself in just a few minutes referring to Mariupol. Now, with all of that happening, this is supply train coming in today towards Kharkiv through Lugansk. This is still in Russian territory, but it is coming into Ukraine. You're getting ready to see a supply train coming that is full of nothing but grads. What are grads? Grads are the motorized units that basically fire the rockets and are doing all of the scorched earth by shelling. So this is coming in, and folks, it's just one of many. When we keep telling you and we keep sharing, Ukraine keeps saying we need weapons today, not in a week from now. You will hear that from Zelensky himself in just a few moments. And I think he actually says that in English, trying to get the message out. But regardless, there is so many weapons coming, so many troops. Don't believe what you're hearing. Yes. Are there low morale in some areas? Yes. Is Ukraine doing a phenomenal job? Yes. Did we put the Moskva on the bottom of the Black Sea? Yes. Is Russia coming and wanting a 5-1 advantage and wants to basically eliminate Ukraine? Absolutely yes. This is today coming towards Ukraine. Folks, that's a lot of arms coming there. You're very welcome, Jason. Michael Hogan, I see you in here saying God bless everyone, but I see a Marine photo there on you, sir. Thank you for your service. Semper Fi. We are very appreciative of our American soldiers, so thank you for your service there. So, folks, I told you that from the Moskva being attacked and being sunk on the toe end, this is what happened. This is called the Vizar plant. It is in Kyiv. It's the Neptune and missile factory. Some of these missiles that Russia has, the hypersonic ones, Ukraine's doing an amazing job. But on some of these targets, I think if Russia really wants to hit it, they can hit it. Last night, once everything was confirmed and Ukraine was celebrating, you saw Zhenya last night. We were happy. You know, we have a victory. We've got enough struggles going on. They destroyed that plant like that. So it's very interesting. Hey, Michael Hogan, you're very, very welcome. So that is what's going on there in response to the Moskva. In fact, we're going to talk about that some more. Now, I want to enlighten you guys tonight. It's Friday night, Easter weekend. This is Good Friday. Yes, we're in day 51, but I want you to understand, Rick Barry, I'm getting ready to blow you away, brother. Putin claimed this is a noble war to denazify Ukraine and liberate the people. Yes, sir. You haven't seen anything yet. I'm getting ready to show you guys tonight 2 clips from Russia. Translated. Hold your teeth. Not your teeth, your teeth. You're getting ready to see something. You have to understand something about Ukrainians. They are resilient, brilliant, crafty. Honestly, there's not a problem that Ukrainians can't figure an answer out to. It's just a very unique gifting in those people. But the other thing the Ukrainians is they have a sense of humor. You know, when your nation is being leveled to the ground, people are being stolen, and genocide is taking a place against your people, it would be easy to just cry and give up. No, they're fighting. They're doing an amazing job. We're doing everything we can do to help. Is it true there were nuclear weapons that are on that ship at the bottom of the sea that aren't damaged? So here's the deal. Most likely, yes, that Moskva class can carry 2 nuclear warheads. Most likely, yes. I have no confirmation. I only try to share what I can confirm 100%. It is nuclear class, and it can carry 2 warheads. So there's the answer to that. We'll see. But if so, this is about the humor of the Ukrainian people. I'm getting ready to show you a cartoon here that was put out today, just to show you the Ukrainian humor. Let's go big on this for you. Recently spotted over the location of the sunken flagship Moskva in the Black Sea. This cartoon was in Ukrainian. I translated it for you. Recently spotted over the location of the sunken flagship Moskva in the Black Sea. On the left is a tractor singing a classic Ukrainian hymn, da 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 da. And then a guy in the farming tractor says, "Stop singing and start digging," meaning Ukrainians are so crafty. They're out in the Black Sea with their tractors because they're farmers and they're trying to dig up the Moskva and to drag it to the shore. The funny thing about that is when tanks have been stuck, because especially early in the war, the weather was so bad, the ground was soft, and the tanks would either be damaged or abandoned. The Ukrainian farmers would take their big John Deere tractors, go out into the fields, hook up the tank, and drag it to the Ukrainian army. And that's the joke here for the guys out digging up the Moskva. Ted Morris, good question there. In fact, let me go to Big Cam on this one. You present tonight's question, is this the beginning of World War III? Well, if this ushers in the end of the world as we know it, then that is all right. It is what we have been praying for, right? The coming of the Lord Jesus. Let's see what's going to happen next. Sir, you are exactly right. In fact, I shared with everyone that Zhenya and I are working on this and probably will even expand the roundtable that night, maybe even do some bigger advertising. But that conversation is coming even from the Ukrainians, from the Europeans, from the Americans, especially those that have knowledge of Scripture. And you look at this, yes, that is being evaluated. Could this be the last days unfolding? Do these things have to happen for the last days? The outpouring, the revival, the second coming of the Lord, all of that. Very, very profound, deep thoughts. But I can tell you this: we're closer right now than we were yesterday. I can tell you that, and that's a fact. So we're working on that, but we're not going to go into that conversation or have an hour program on that without our guns loaded, if I can say it that way. Finland and NATO. If Sweden and Finland join NATO, do you think Ukraine will ultimately join, and what would Russia's response be? Okay, so here's the deal. Ukraine can't join. You say what? Ukraine's been trying to join NATO for a decade, and NATO's been afraid of it due to the fear of Russia. That's the fact. That's the bottom line. Finland and Sweden, they're coming in very quickly. The last we've heard, Russia's already moving military operations up to the Finnish border. This is the problem, and these are some of the things we're talking about even tonight. So, would Ukraine join NATO if they could? Yesterday, absolutely, 100%. But if they were in NATO, if NATO did their agreement, who knows, then this war would be looking much, much different. So here's the deal, folks. We talked about the chain of events that happen after the sinking of the Moskva. Here's the deal. The sinking of the Moskva has triggered other events. Today, this is day 51 of the war, but today is the first day that Russia deployed their Tupolev 22 M3 long-range bombers. These planes have not been used in this war. And folks, these airplanes are devastating. Maximum speed, Mach 1.88, that's 1,240 miles an hour. Range, 4,200 miles. Combat radius, 1,500 miles. Loaded. Service ceiling, 43,600. They can carry up to 3 Raduga KH-22s. Folks, they're massive missiles that they can drop, and they go hypersonic, and they can carry every warhead there is, even nuclear. They can be equipped also with 6 Raduga KH-15s. Those are also unbelievable missiles, and I'm not praising, I'm just telling you the facts, that are extremely high tech, also can be equipped any armament, and various free fall bombs, up to 69 of them, depending on the size that they are loading, for carpet bombing. These are serious, folks. Those planes are not a joke. Let me share this with you. This may surprise you. Okay, folks, I would like to do a little game tonight while we're continuing. Not really a game, but in the chat, if you would, I'm just going to ask a question on your honor as a wonderful citizen of whatever country you're from, and human being, person of God. Do not Google this. Do not Google this. How many miles is it from Kyiv to Moscow? Start taking some guesses. How many miles is it from Kyiv to Moscow? When you start talking about these planes, you're going to start to get a little bit of understanding. So these planes were just put into action today for the war. And you're right. Could even have been these that hit Kyiv last night. and took out the missile place. Medic Trevor 400, EE 500, Bryn Kim 1200. Yeah, reminds me of F111 1200, 450. You guys are doing good. 546 miles. That's it. And, you know, we just think it's such far distances between all these places. No, 546 miles. Now, with that said, folks, here we go. I'm now going to show you guys 2 clips. These clips were sent to me today. They are on Rosia 1. What I want to remind everyone tonight, this channel is in every home. This is not like your house maybe in America where, you know, we're trying to cut the cords and you go on Hulu or YouTube or whatever it may be. And, you know, if you can't get Discovery, well, you have to sacrifice it, whatever. Okay, listen, this channel is in every home. And I need to help you understand the Russian culture a little bit, and even the Ukrainian culture. They're similar here. These channels are played everywhere. This channel here, Rosia 1, it is channel number 1, and every home, every business. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to you. You know, growing up, if you're my age or above, you remember the days when it was only NBC, CBS, and ABC. You had like 3 channels. We're talking about that level. There's no other options. Every home is getting this. And tonight, I'm going to show you a couple of talk shows that every home is getting, every business is getting, every government's giving, everything. This is the propaganda. And these programs have happened in the last 24 hours since the Moskva went down to the bottom of the sea. The first one we're going to talk about is the announcement. I have the announcement when the Moskva was officially declared sunk by the Russian military and the Russian government. Here we go.
Важное заявление Министерства обороны Российской Федерации о судьбе крейсера «Москва», на котором случился пожар. Речь про флагман Черноморского флота России.
Но даже то, что есть посягательство на нашу территорию, есть казус белли, абсолютный повод к войне, настоящий, без дураков. Не всяких. Как это называется? Ну, что мы сейчас ведем?
Спецоперация России на
Кончилась специальная
территории
военная
Украины.
операция. Сегодня ночью она кончилась. И она кончилась с тем, когда нападают на нашу родину с вами.
Когда вы говорите «ночью кончилась», вы имеете в виду крейсер «Москва»? Когда вы говорите про войну, вы имеете в виду объявление мобилизации тотальной?
Стоп. Я не хотел говорить о крейсере «Москве», тем более, что были разные, так сказать. Но вы сказали, крейсер «Москва» — это абсолютный повод для войны. 100%. Это флагман наш. И здесь думать нечего. Здесь нужна ответка, но какая? Ее нужно придумать.
Спецоперацию России на Украине. То, во что это вылилось, уже смело можно называть, не лукавя, Третьей мировой войной. Совершенно точно. Мы прямо сейчас сражаемся, если не с НАТО, то уж точно с инфраструктурой НАТО. И это тоже надо осознавать. Соединенными Штатами Америки круглосуточно они по железной дороге поставляют оружие, круглосуточно по земле из Польши поставляют оружие. В этом смысле, конечно, не шутка, что надо очень серьезно подумать об уничтожении железнодорожных узлов. Там, конечно, вопросики, они все едут и едут, я имею в виду лидеры. Но лидеров надо предупредить, пусть дома сидят.
По Киеву тогда они приедут. Вот что нужно сделать. Вот этого не должно быть никогда. То, что мы сейчас видим на экране. А есть один способ ответить. Бабахнуть один раз и все.
Folks, could you imagine watching your news program and seeing that? So here's how we know this is recent, this is accurate. couple of interesting things. First of all, she gives the announcement. It's when it was released by the government. She calls it a fire. Well, he instantly start talking about it, that it was bombed because they attacked us, which references that Ukraine actually did it. But here's the deal. Up until this point, Russia still calls this a special operation. They do not call it a war. But now that there have been false flag events, border skirmishes, where most likely Russia has even bombed their own little villages to show a provocation. There is an expected provocation in the Transnistria region in the southwest of Ukraine. We've talked about that, down next to Moldova. And now that the Moskva is on the bottom of the Black Sea, now they're calling to declare war. So here's these talking heads, but everybody sees it, folks. And this is, you say, well, it's just some talking head. No, you have to understand something. These guys are famous. These guys are famous. Everybody sees them from A to Z. And here's what they're spewing. She's talking about NATO, Americans supplying weapons. He's talking about dropping bombs. Then they talk about the presidents of Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Poland coming. Those leaders shouldn't be there. Just start dropping bombs and they won't come to Kyiv anymore. We could just drop a bomb and be done with this. They're already running with that in Ukraine for the potential of a nuclear tactical weapon being used. This is why the title was tonight. Are we seeing the beginnings of World War III? Of course, it's absolutely possible. Absolutely. But these people, they have some opinions. But the point I want you to understand is everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. The second clip that I have for you, this one, same night, talking about how Ukraine must be wiped off the planet. Ukrainian, it's not Russian. It must be erased. Here it comes for you. About 60 more seconds looking inside of Rossiya 1.
Вот что, кстати, говорит по этому поводу Виктория Нуланд. Она когда говорит, что, мол, геноцид Владимир Путин устраивает, так она конкретно говорит, видно же, в чем цель Путина. Стереть идею быть украинцем. Так я с Викой Нуланд согласен. Вика, ты гений. Эту идею надо стереть от начала до конца. Она 100 лет отравляет жизнь народам славянским. Потому что на самом деле русских людей, да, им сказали, ты теперь будешь, несмотря на то, что это абсолютно обидное название даже. Это обидное название. Быть одним из русских народов и вдруг оказаться украинцами. Подождите, еще раз, речь идет об украинстве.
Ну хорошо, да.
Вот об идее украинства.
Понятно.
Понимаете, об идее того, что вот, так сказать, некая, понимаете, что некий, так сказать, еще один из русских народов, им сказали, что вы не русские, вы должны русских ненавидеть и воевать с ними. Вот эту идею надо вытравить полностью. И работа эта вестись будет очень долго. Сколько мы из них это все дело будем вытравливать? Но прежде чем начать их вытравливать, и прежде чем они начнут осознавать, что нужно обучаться и нужно видеть другую жизнь, их сначала надо убедительно победить.
Folks, I'm sharing stuff with you. This is legit, 100%. This is the power of the media and the propaganda. You're basically hearing a panel there talk about genocide, taking the Ukrainian out. It's only true Russians, the Northern Slavs, and the only way it's going to happen is for them to be defeated. So, of course, here comes President Zelensky. In response to the threats against Kyiv and the potential of nuclear or chemical attacks, Zelensky said, we take every threat seriously, not out of fear, but to be prepared. Our enemy does not consider life important. Folks, here's Zelensky, about a minute of him talking with a CNN anchor.
The director of the CIA warned that he's worried Putin might use a tactical nuclear weapon in this fight. Are you worried?
Not only me. I think all of the world, all the countries have to be worried. Because you know that it can be not real information, but it can be truth. Because when they begin to speak about one or another battles or involve enemies or nuclear weapons or some chemical, issues, chemical weapons. They should do it. They could do it. I mean, so they can. For them, life of the people is nothing. That's why we should think, not be afraid. I mean, not be afraid, be ready. But that is not the question to Ukraine, and not only for the Ukraine, for all the world. I think so.
Folks, there you have it. Just straight from President Zelensky. Do we have to be worried? Yes, everybody should be. This is what we are seeing right now. Russia comes right back. This is all, it's been unfolding, of course, but the sinking of the Moskva. What was the name of the ship? The Lusitania, World War One. That's what got America in the war, right? Lusitania. World War II, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy. This sinking of the Moskva. Folks, that is the number one ship in the Russian Navy. And it's on the bottom of the Black Sea. This is the kind of event that adjusts things in the war. And I think that's what everybody is talking about right now in Ukraine and Russia. With that said, today, Russia warns the United States to stop arming Ukraine. If you go back to the video clip and think about it in your mind right now that I was showing you with the lady and on the Russian Channel 1, where she was the anchor reporting the sinking of the Moskva, you remember her showing the $800 million worth of equipment that America is sending in? Folks, that's very, very recent information that was just adjusted and released by the Defense Department in Washington, D.C. of military aid. And Russia came out today and says, you need to stop supplying weapons. You heard them talking about, okay, let's just blow the tracks up so they can't get the weapons in. This stuff is just continuing and boiling and boiling. And first flight of new U.S. military aid for Ukraine expected to arrive in the next 24 hours. We're going to see. Now, that's no fear. I'm thankful the Americans are sending that. But let's look at fear in regard to this. German Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck backed away yesterday, from demands that his country quickly send tanks to Ukraine amid divisions with Berlin's ruling parties, listen, over how much to get involved and concerned about becoming Russia's next target. Germany better wake up and smell the coffee. This is why the world needs a strong leader. Zelensky is that. Boris Johnson, I think, has it in him. He needs to step up and say, Germany, get in line. And folks, this is why the European Union is flawed anyway, but we're not going into that discussion. Somebody needs to get in gear. That's it. Now, this guy here, I'm going to introduce you tonight. His name is Bill Browder. William Browder is his full name. He started his career in Eastern Europe. He is an American. He renounced his citizenship. Don't go sideways on me yet. He's not the best guy in the world, but I want you to hear what he says, and there's a reason I'm going to play the clip for you. He started his career in Eastern Europe, practice of the Boston Consulting Group in London. Then he worked for Robert Maxwell's MCC conglomerate, and after that managed the Russian proprietary investment desk at Salomon Brothers. This gentleman here is an American. His father was a communist in the United States. His father and generations before him, of course, were bashed for being communists. This is this guy's background. Then he gets into business, banking, finance. He becomes a gazillionaire. He moves to Moscow in the 90s, and he realizes that the things he believed in are corrupt. So he starts to try to tell Russia, the oligarchs, the government, hey, this is wrong. You're stealing. This is illegal. And they kick him out of the country. That's basically his story in a nutshell. He is now a citizen of Great Britain. There's a reason I'm going to play his clip, because I would consider this guy definitely not of the political persuasions that a lot of us are, or even conservative, Bible believing. I looked him up deeply today, could find no connection with any spirituality. And I'm not saying he is or not. I'm not judging the guy. I'm just telling you what I could find out. But he tells it like it is. And this guy lived in Russia. He's older now. Here's 2 minutes worth listening to of Bill Browder.
I went there to Russia at the end of the Soviet Union when Russia became a capitalist country. I set up an investment fund to invest in Russia. I discovered in the companies that I was investing in that the oligarchs and other corrupt officials were stealing money from those companies. I guess naively thought that I could stop the stealing by publicly exposing it. So I launched these naming and shaming campaigns against Russian oligarchs. And as you can imagine, I didn't make myself too popular. And after living there for 10 years, I was expelled from the country in 2005. I was declared a threat to national security. And then my real problems began. My office in Moscow was raided by the police. The office of my law firm was raided by the police. And they seized a bunch of documents, and those documents were then used to create a very complex fraud in which the Russian officials, corrupt officials, and organized criminals stole $230 million of taxes that I had paid to the Russian government. I think this is purely and only a desperate play to stay in power. And that actually informs us about how to respond to him, because if I'm correct, and I'm very confident that I am, then this whole idea of giving him an off-ramp, negotiating with him, all of that doesn't mean anything. The only thing that will cause him to stop this war is if he's defeated. That's the only thing. And so if that is the case, and I believe that to be the case, then the only option for us is to do everything we can possibly do to help the Ukrainians win this war. And that's including more arms, a no-fly zone, financial support, crippling sanctions. Because if we don't do that to the maximum extent possible, and for whatever reason Putin is able to win this war, his next stop is going to be Estonia, Lithuania, Poland. And he's going to be pointing his guns at those countries. He's going to be seeing whether this thing called Article 5 of NATO, this collective defense treaty that we all have, whether it really works, whether the U.S. Military is ready to go to war with Russia over a country that 99% of Americans couldn't locate on a map.
So, folks, there you have it. That's Bill Browder. Yeah, when I found that, saw his update, I looked him up, of course. I do not want to be sharing stuff that I shouldn't. The guy's spot on. Once I knew he had lived there, been in business there, experienced it, been deported, dealt with the government, I was very confident the guy knows what he's talking about. And he said it very clearly. Each day this goes on, more and more and more. Absolutely, Rick Barry. Very surprising. Very surprising that this guy would say that. That's why I shared it tonight. Honestly, it was quite refreshing, and it's worth sharing, and I'm appreciative that he would say that. And yes, His policies and views may be different than a lot of ours, but he's a smart guy, and he's accurate on that. There's only one thing that's going to work, and Putin must be defeated. That's it. If anybody thinks anything else will work, it's not going to. Mariupol today, I'm just going to tell you this. I have the video. I'm not going to show it. There are now 13 active crematorium trucks with the Russian military in the streets of Mariupol. They are digging up the people that have been buried in the yards, people that have been buried, and they're burning them. They are doing that to erase the evidence of the war crimes that have been and are continuing to be committed in Mariupol. President Zelensky is going to speak about Mariupol to you in just a moment. He was chatting with BBC, and this was worth sharing. You may not have seen it. But folks, I don't know how else we can continue to say this, but we need to say it. They're trying to hang on, but it's unbelievable. And only time is going to tell. And if anybody thinks it's less than tens and tens and tens of thousands of people that have been killed in Mariupol, just wait when we can get accuracy. This lady right here, standing in front of her home, this was a nice picture taken. This is the second time her home has been destroyed. The first time was in World War II, and now her home is destroyed again. This is Mariupol. Now, a couple of minutes here, President Zelensky, and then I'm going to tell you something about Energodar that you need to hear tonight.
Europe has been giving $1 billion a day to Russia for its oil and gas. And it's given you and the Ukrainian people $1 billion in military aid since the beginning of the war. How do you deal with that?
Ми не розуміємо, як можна заробляти на крові. На жаль, деякі держави це роблять. Європейські держави. Наприклад, я хочу все ж таки, щоб ми говорили і були відверті. Наприклад, ембарго на нафту, це сьогодні, я вважаю, це ключове, один із ключових моментів, одне з ключових питань, яке нам відомо блокувала Німеччина і Угорщина серед європейських держав. І тут нам потрібно разом розмовляти з цими країнами, як це можливо, щоб всередині Європейського Союзу, щоб було різне ставлення до цього питання щодо ембарго на нафту.
How do you negotiate a peace? How do you move forward? How do you sit across the table to try to stop the war? How do you do that?
Як можна закінчити цю війну? Чи є багато варіантів у президента воюючої країни закінчити війну? Битися до останнього українця? Як дехто в деяких країнах цього хоче? Або зробити все можливе, щоб не втрачати десятки тисяч, сотні тисяч, а може навіть мільйони людей. Зупинити Третю світову війну. Зробити все, щоб це закінчилось якнайшвидше, як можна швидше. Зробити все, щоб Україна не була зруйнована на 100%. Як це можеш зробити? Я думаю, ні у кого немає 100% відповіді, тому що в іншому випадку це було б вже зроблено.
Are you getting the weapons you need to fight that war in the East? Because it is going to be a very different campaign to the more urban street fighting that we saw here in the north around the capital. Are you getting the right weapons you need from the West?
Нам треба воювати сьогодні, і зброя потрібна сьогодні. І ми не можемо чекати, коли та чи інша країна нам це надасть чи продасть, по-різному буває, за 2-3 тижні, за місяць. Деякі досі ще не вирішили питання. Тут, тим не менш, наприклад, якщо ми говоримо про Сполучені Штати, якщо ми говоримо про Британію, якщо ми говоримо про деякі європейські держави, вони намагаються нам допомогти і допомагають. Але все ж таки нам треба швидше і більше. Чи всього достатньо? Ми вважаємо, що ні. The priority word is sooner. The priority words quickly. The priority words now. Because we are fighting now, not tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. It will prolong. And it depends. You know, how long it will be, it depends of this equipment, of this, of course, of everything, of everything. Yes, of all this weapon.
The situation in Mariupol, everything has been destroyed and many lives have been lost.
95% of all the buildings, 95% destroyed in Mariupol. They're one of the biggest city, not only in Ukraine, in Europe. 500,000 people. 500,000 people. How much people were killed there, nobody knows. What they say, that is lying. They lie. No, nobody knows. How much people are still there, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Folks, I'll tell you what, that's about as up to the date and up to the moment we can get from the president of Ukraine. That guy that was interviewing did a fantastic job. You see, when it was time to get a little more serious about needing them now, need the weapons now, not tomorrow, not a week from now, President Zelensky actually switched to the English language, I'm sure, to even stress it, because he knows people are going to be hearing that, and it will get eventually and hopefully to those that can make those decisions. We do our part and share daily, but that is him. He then spoke about Mariupol. That is not hearsay. Folks, that was the president of Ukraine. 95%. 500,000 people. But here's what you have to remember. That's just a city. You see, when you think about, you know what? Let me do this. Population of Pittsburgh. We got a lot of PA people here. So, folks, the population of the city of Pittsburgh. This is what you need to understand. The population of the city of Pittsburgh, 302,000 in 2019. But the metro area, 1.5 million. So when we say Mariupol has 500,000 people, that's the city. Then you have to stretch out into the metro areas and the little towns connecting it like it would be an urban metro area. This is why we keep talking about Mariupol and Mariupol. This is a big city, and folks, right behind it is Kharkiv. And Kharkiv is bigger, 3 times bigger than Mariupol. It's the second biggest city in Ukraine, only behind Kyiv. We're talking about major, mega urban areas. Ukraine does not have many mega urban areas. Kyiv and Kharkiv being your biggest two. So when the president says 95% is destroyed, how many people are killed? They're lying. We don't know. How many people are still there? We don't know. That is the most accurate report that we could possibly have tonight. Couple more minutes here, and I've got something that's going to make you smile on the way out tonight for your Friday night. Energodar, this is not going to make you smile. This is released today, documents posted everywhere in Energodar, which is, remember, where the nuclear power plant is for Zaporozhye. That is completely under Russian occupation with all the military there. It is now a Russian city. And this is the documents that were released today. Russian language, Russian currency, Russian schools, Russian taxes, everything in Nergodar. I share that because we've been talking about that city for weeks and weeks and weeks. Podolyak came out today. He said it was Russia that started an unprovoked war on foreign territory with mass deliberate killings of civilians and large-scale destruction of civilian infrastructure. Therefore, any retaliatory actions of Ukraine are both morally and legally absolutely justified. Why did he say that today? He said that because you saw it yourself on the video clips that I shared with you from Russia. They're losing their mind in Russia right now because the Moskva is on the bottom of the Black Sea. This is a major event in this war. The activation of those long-range bombers today is a major deal in this war. The strike instantly on the missile plant in Kyiv is a major moment in this war. The infrastructure, military and person-wise that is coming, the new general, Zelensky saying what he's saying, we need weapons, U.S. sending weapons. Folks, that is why the title of the program of tonight was, is this World War III? I do not know the answer to that. Finally, this is what I want to send you out tonight for a smile. This is Shakhtar. Shakhtar actually means miners. This is actually, was formerly the Donetsk Football Club. Now, this is a major soccer club in Ukraine and in Europe, Shakhtar. And in 2014, they had to leave Donetsk because of the invasion that started in 2014. So they've been playing their games in Kyiv. They've been playing in Kharkiv. They've played in Lviv. But they are the Donetsk Football Club, and their logo is Shakhtar. Miners, of course, because of mining. Well, here's the story. Number 21 in a game last night for Shakhtar was 12-year-old Dima, born in a little village in the Donetsk Oblast, Karatusk. And for the first few years of his life, he lived there. Until 2014, when his native city became occupied by the Donetsk People's Republic. His family moved to the city of Mariupol. This is where you do not want to miss the beauty of this story. Before the occupation, his family were fans of Shakhtar, and they were a part of the organized fan club. This would be like Dallas Cowboys level. This would be like Boston Red Sox, San Francisco Giants. If you're a basketball fan, Chicago Bulls. Ice hockey fan, Pittsburgh Penguins. How about that one for you tonight, Seth Porter? We're talking this level, professional sports. When the war started, his family was hiding from the bombs in the Mariupol Drama Theater until March 16th. And his dad got them out of the drama theater on March 16th. On March 17th, the drama theater was bombed and hundreds of people were killed. Yesterday, Dima spent the entire day with his favorite football team, the Shakhtar. And he actually got to go out on the field with the guys and play football, soccer, with this professional club. This kid is 12 years old. He's still extremely afraid of loud noises. But today, he put that aside because he did not want to play badly for his team. This one will make you smile on the way out the door today.
Ще одна заміна у Донецького Шахтаря. На полі з'являється Дмитро Кеда. Йому 12 років.
You see the players all have names of the cities on the back of their jerseys now. He's got Mariupol. He's playing with the pros.
2014 року місто є окупованим, і він, його родина вболівають за Шахтар, були у фан-клубі, відвідували матчі на Донбас-арені. А у Маріуполі ходив Дмитро із родиною на всі поєдинки місцевої команди. Не можу, чесно кажучи, стримувати сліз.
And he scores a goal.
Це неймовірна мить для хлопця.
They were playing Poland.
Неймовірна мить для хлопця, мрія якого сьогодні здійснилася.
That, folks, folks, if that kid had stayed in that drama theater one more day, he probably would not be alive. That's a good story to close the night. Folks, you guys have a great Good Friday evening. Have a restful day on Saturday. We'll see you in 23 hours. Unbelievable how many things change every 24 hours. May the Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. I heard President Biden shook hands with people that wasn't there. John McAfee, I think it's coming to the edge of World War III. Sir, I think that's a fair way to look at it. I think that's where we're at as well. God bless you guys. Good night. We'll see you in 23 hours.